Thanks for joining me for my review of the Posh MicroX mobile phone. We here at dTOOR love checking out alternative mobile handsets, and we also love supporting our fellow makers. I thought that while we're waiting for our cool new phone, the Circle phone, to come out in 2018, that we would check out the other alternative handsets that we've discovered and share them with you. I unboxed this cute little Micro X about a week and a half ago, and I've been using it ever since. It came in this cute little box with the phone, its battery separately, a micro USB cable with a charging block, and a pair of headphones that was something you might have gotten from an airline for free. They were really basic, and I honestly never used them. There was also a little bit of paperwork that kind of gave you directions on how to get the battery into the phone and where to put the SIM card. As I was taking the back off of the phone initially, I had a little bit of trouble getting it off. So I ended up kind of pulling on it pretty hard, and I broke off a few crumb-sized pieces of the black plastic from inside of the phone. It didn't actually cause any trouble or have any performance issues as a result, but it does make my case just a little loose at the bottom. The other thing that I would note about this particular case and the cord that came with it, be sure to keep the cord the micro USB cord that came in with the phone, because it needs to have a long tongue in order to be able to make the charging connection. I made the mistake of trying to charge it with another cord that I had from a different device, and it wouldn't make the connection, and ended up not charging overnight like I expected it to. I was able to get the phone set up right away. It runs Android operating system, so it was easy to set up and I was familiar with it. Everything seemed to work pretty well on it, had lots of options for the apps and other services that I was expecting to be able to use on the phone. So that was all great. One of the coolest things about this phone is how portable and light it is. I a couple of times forgot it was even in my pocket when I was carrying it around. Every time I pulled it out, somebody asked me about it. Not only was the fun color the attractor, but also when they saw that it was actually running a full Android operating system, people were pretty impressed and wanted to talk about it. It's definitely a conversation starter. As to the performance of the phone, it uses the KitKat version of Android, but I found the processor to be pretty sluggish. Also, the screen is so tiny that the keyboard is truly microscopic. Using it to type out a text message was a harrowing experience, and don't even get me started on passwords. I found myself using voice to text most of the time, and it's about as effective as most mobile phones, which means I had to turn back to the tiny keyboard to do the corrections. I understood with the real estate that you have, there's only so much you can do about the keyboard, but I was a little disappointed to find that when I turned the phone into the landscape position, the keyboard didn't rotate to give me more space. That would have been a nice feature to have. A swipe keyboard is another option that you might want to try with the Posh MicroX. I didn't actually download one this time, but I would think it might work better than trying to wrestle with a tiny little keyboard on what is not a terribly accurate touch response area of the phone. Because the screen doesn't rotate when you turn the phone, photos that you take in the landscape position display on the phone still in portrait, so they go across this tiny little size of the screen. You turn it, it doesn't rotate. So what I would say is keep that in mind if when you're taking photos that you expect to be able to view on the phone later. Keep it portrait, people. Speaking of the photos, the camera on the back of the phone, which is the better of the two, is only 2 megapixels, so the quality's just okay. It certainly doesn't compare with those other phones, you know, the ones that are 7 times or more the price, but it does work just fine, unless it's low lighting. There's no flash, people. Keep it in the daylight. Another annoyance that I had with the Posh MicroX is that I couldn't connect it to my home Wi-Fi network. My home network is 5G, and the Posh didn't recognize it. To conclude, I would say that this phone is fun. It draws lots of attention because people want to see and find out what it's about. I would definitely use this phone to go out if I didn't want to carry my big heavy phone or risk having it get damaged somewhere. I don't think that it will replace my primary phone anytime soon, however, due to its sluggish processor, the annoyance with the keyboard, and the limited camera capabilities. However, for around $100, It's fun to have around when you don't need to do a lot of heavy-duty computing on your phone. Thanks for watching, and if you have any other alternative mobile phones that you'd like to see us review, please put it in the comments below.